Ladies and gentlemen, success is not a matter of chance. It begins with the way you think. Every breakthrough, every victory, every transformation starts not in the physical world, but in the inner realm of the mind. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. That's where it all begins. Before any action, before any result, before any recognition, there is a thought. And if that thought is not shaped by discipline, it can be scattered by fear, doubt, or distraction. The truth is, many people dream of success. They fantasize about a better life, a healthier body, more money, stronger relationships, or greater influence. But dreaming is not enough. Wishing is not enough. Hoping is not enough. It's not what you want that determines your life. It's what you are willing to do for it. And that starts with what you are willing to think. Your thoughts are the seed of every result in your life. And if the seed is not planted in discipline, it won't grow. It will wither. Most people go through life with no control over their minds. Their thoughts are reactive. They hear bad news and they feel hopeless. They get criticized and they feel defeated. They see someone else succeed and they feel envious. But those responses are not fate. They are the result of undisciplined thinking. An undisciplined mind allows the outside world to control your inner world. It lets the noise of the world drown out the voice of your purpose. But when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your future. When you discipline your mind, you begin to shape your life from the inside out. You stop reacting to circumstances and you start creating them. You no longer live in fear, but in clarity. You no longer chase distractions, but focus on what matters most. That's the power of a disciplined mind. A disciplined mind doesn't mean you never feel fear, never get tired, or never have doubts. It means you know how to manage them. It means you don't allow negative thoughts to stay. You recognize them and then replace them. You don't dwell on failure. You extract the lesson and move forward. You don't waste time comparing yourself to others. You stay in your lane and stay committed to your vision. A disciplined mind is your anchor when the storms of life come. When the world is unpredictable, when people disappoint you, when results are delayed, your mind is your fortress. And if it's strong, you remain grounded. You remain focused. You remain committed. That's how you win. Not by avoiding problems, but by facing them with the strength of mental discipline. See, success doesn't just happen. It's built one thought at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. And each of those begins in your mind. What you think determines how you feel. How you feel determines what you do. And what you do determines what you get. That chain reaction begins with one thing, your thoughts. That's why you must guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Every successful person knows this. Behind every gold medal, every best-selling book, every world-changing business is a person who trained their mind to think differently. They saw obstacles as opportunities. They refused to let fear take the driver's seat. They ignored the critics and listened to their calling. They understood that before they could achieve anything, they had to win the battle in their own head. And so do you. Train your mind to see possibilities where others see problems. Train it to keep going when others give up. Train it to focus on your goals instead of your excuses. Train it to believe in yourself even when no one else does. That's what mental discipline looks like. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's powerful. And it's the key to unlocking everything you want. So if you're waiting for motivation, stop. Motivation is temporary. Mental discipline is what lasts. If you're waiting for someone to give you permission, you don't need it. You already have everything you need. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess, but you must train it daily. Just like your body needs exercise, your mind needs focus, direction, and clarity. Start small. Begin by watching your thoughts. Catch yourself when negativity creeps in. Replace it with something empowering. Practice gratitude. Visualize success. Speak to yourself like someone who matters because you do. Over time, your mind will shift. And once your mindset changes, your habits will follow. Your actions will follow. Your life will follow. Success is not for the lucky. It's for the disciplined. And discipline begins with the mind. Get your thoughts in order. Build mental strength. Refuse to be controlled by doubt, fear, or outside noise. Because when you discipline your mind to serve your goals, to protect your peace, and to fuel your purpose, there is nothing you can't achieve. The world will notice. The results will come. And everything else, your success, your influence, your impact, will follow. You said, expand it into 800 words without heading. Chat GPT said, discipline is not something glamorous. It's not always fun, and it's certainly not always easy, but it is the foundation of everything meaningful in life. Discipline is what separates those who wish for success from those who actually achieve it. It's the silent force behind every great accomplishment. Without discipline, even the best intentions fall apart. Without discipline, talent is wasted, potential is buried, and goals remain just dreams. Discipline is the engine that turns vision into reality. Consistency is born from discipline. You don't need to feel motivated every day to make progress. In fact, you won't feel motivated most days. Some days you'll feel tired, discouraged, or even lost. That's normal. But those who succeed don't wait for the perfect mood or the right time. They show up anyway. They understand that discipline is the ability to act regardless of emotion. It is the habit of moving forward even when the path is hard. Think about anything meaningful you've ever achieved in your life. Whether it was learning a skill, getting in shape, graduating, or building something of your own, it didn't happen by accident. It happened because you kept showing up. And if you look back, you'll notice that the days you felt least like doing the work were often the days that mattered most. That's where discipline steps in. It's the quiet, determined voice that says, keep going. Discipline is what transforms routines into rituals. It's what gives shape to chaos. When you wake up at the same time every morning, when you invest in your health, when you read to learn, when you protect your time from distractions, you're not just being productive, you're building a system that supports your success. It's not the one big act that changes your life, it's the hundreds of small decisions made consistently that shape who you become. Disciplined life creates structure, and structure creates clarity. When your day has a rhythm, when your goals are clear, and your actions are aligned, you remove the guesswork. You don't have to waste energy wondering what to do next. You've already decided. That decision made once saves you from making 100 more under pressure. That's the power of discipline. It frees your mind to focus on what truly matters. And one of the most misunderstood ideas is that discipline restricts you. In reality, discipline gives you freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from last-minute panic, freedom from poor health, broken commitments, and wasted time. When you are disciplined, you gain control over your results. You don't live at the mercy of emotions or distractions. You become the author of your life, not just a character reacting to everything around you. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds. At first, it's hard. You may struggle. You may want to quit. But if you stay consistent, something powerful begins to happen. It gets easier. You build momentum. You start to trust yourself. You prove, through your actions, that you are capable of staying committed. And with every day you stay disciplined, your confidence grows. You start to believe, not just in your goals, but in your ability to reach them. Discipline is a choice. It's not something you're born with, it's something you train. Just like a muscle, the more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. You don't wake up one day with perfect discipline. You build it step by step with every decision you make. When you hit snooze or get up early, when you scroll or study, when you complain or take responsibility, each decision is a vote for the person you want to become. It's important to recognize that the people who seem the most successful didn't start that way. They struggled, they had setbacks, they felt like giving up too. But what made them different was their ability to keep going. Discipline was their anchor. While others gave in to comfort, they leaned into discomfort. While others took shortcuts, they chose the long path. And eventually, that path led to results that others couldn't even dream of. If you want to create lasting change in your life, start by committing to discipline. Not in huge leaps, but in small steps. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Plan your day the night before. Read instead of scrolling. Choose water over soda. Do the workout even when you're tired. Keep the promise you made to yourself. Each of these small decisions matters. Each one is a brick in the foundation of your future. And when you build your life on discipline, everything else starts to fall into place. You'll see progress in your work, your health, your relationships, and your mindset. You'll stop relying on motivation, and instead you'll become reliable. You'll begin to feel a quiet pride, not from praise or recognition, but from knowing you stayed true to your values. That kind of self-respect is priceless. So if you're serious about success, understand this. It won't always feel good, it won't always be easy, and you won't always be inspired. But if you stay disciplined, if you stay consistent, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. Success is not found in the big, flashy moments. It's found in the small, quiet decisions made every single day. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Build that bridge, walk it daily, and success will follow. You said, expand it 3 into 800 words without heading. ChatGPT said, an undisciplined mind is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave, carried by every current, and completely at the mercy of its environment. It reacts instead of responds, drifts instead of directs, and surrenders control rather than taking it. When your mind lacks discipline, you become vulnerable to every negative influence around you. Doubt takes over, fear grows louder, excuses become more persuasive, and distractions, those subtle little temptations, steal your time, your focus, and ultimately your future. Think about how many times you've set a goal or made a promise to yourself, only to abandon it after a few days or weeks. You started strong, filled with motivation and excitement, but then a setback occurred, or maybe your enthusiasm faded, and the comfort of old habits crept back in. That's not a failure of desire, it's a failure of discipline. More specifically, it's the result of an undisciplined mind that hasn't learned how to fight back against resistance. When your mind isn't trained, it starts entertaining the wrong thoughts. It listens too closely to the voice that says, "You're not good enough, it's too hard, or you'll never make it." That voice is always there, and if you're not careful, it becomes the one you believe. And once you believe it, you begin to act like it's true. You hesitate, you procrastinate, you make excuses, you shrink your goals to match your fears instead of expanding your discipline to match your dreams. The truth is, the undisciplined mind loves comfort. It avoids challenges. It seeks out instant gratification. It says, "I'll do it tomorrow, and I deserve a break," even when you know deep down that delaying action is sabotaging your progress. The undisciplined mind is emotional. It acts on feelings instead of values. And because feelings fluctuate daily, so does your progress when your mind isn't under your control. But this isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest. If you don't take charge of your thinking, someone or something else will. Society is full of noise. Advertisements telling you what you need to buy, social media telling you how you should look or live, peer pressure telling you what success should mean. Without a disciplined mind, you internalize all of that. You become reactive to life instead of intentional with it. Discipline is the filter that helps you separate what's important from what's noise. It's the mental strength that keeps your attention locked on your goals, even when the world is offering you 1,000 distractions. It's what allows you to feel fear but still move forward. It's what enables you to fail but not quit. And most importantly, it's what helps you bounce back when life knocks you down. Let's be clear, everyone has doubts. Everyone feels fear. Everyone is tempted to give up at some point, but not everyone gives in. Why? Because those who train their minds to stay disciplined have built resilience. They've conditioned their thoughts to serve them, not sabotage them. They don't allow negative self-talk to take root. They replace it with truth, with vision, with purpose. An undisciplined mind says, "What if I fail?" A disciplined mind says, "What if I succeed?" An undisciplined mind says, "I'm not ready." A disciplined mind says, "I'll grow as I go." An undisciplined mind says, "It's too hard." A disciplined mind says, "This is worth it." This shift in thinking changes everything. It changes how you wake up, how you work, how you respond to setbacks, and how you view success. You begin to realize that success isn't about being the smartest, fastest, or most talented. It's about being in control of your thoughts long enough to keep moving forward when others stop. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your behavior. And your behavior creates your life. So if you want to live a better life, you must first take control of the thoughts that guide it. You must be intentional. That means creating time for stillness, journaling your goals, reflecting on your habits, and challenging the lies you've believed for too long. It means asking yourself every day, is this thought helping me or hurting me? And if it's hurting you, replace it. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And once you understand that, you take back your power. You stop letting fear dictate your decisions. You stop letting doubt hold the pen in your story. You begin to lead with purpose, not emotion. That is the power of a disciplined mind. It doesn't eliminate fear, but it doesn't let fear win. It doesn't silence all doubts, but it refuses to let doubts make decisions. It doesn't avoid struggle. It embraces it as part of growth. And that mindset, that quiet, consistent inner discipline, it changes everything. So don't take your thoughts lightly. Guard them. Train them, sharpen them, because your mind can either be your prison or your passport, your limitation or your liberation. And the difference lies in whether you let it wander or whether you teach it to obey. The undisciplined mind may be the default, but the disciplined mind is your destiny. Choose to shape your thoughts with purpose, and your future will rise to meet you. He said that. Expand it 4 into 800 words without hitting ChatGPT said. Mental focus is one of the most powerful tools you possess, yet so few people use it to its full potential. In a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and endless options, the ability to focus has become rare and valuable. The difference between someone who dreams of success and someone who achieves it is often not intelligence, talent, or opportunity. It's their ability to focus, to block out the noise, to zero in on what matters, and to give their energy to the things that move them forward. That is what separates winners from wishers. In today's world, distraction is the default. Notifications ping every few seconds. Social media begs for your attention, and your mind is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. It's easy to lose hours, days, even years, chasing things that don't matter. And while you're busy being busy, your goals remain untouched. You might be exhausted, but not effective. You might be working hard, but not working smart. That's the curse of an unfocused life. It feels like movement, but it leads nowhere meaningful. Winners understand that focus is a form of power. It's how you protect your energy. It's how you say no to what's urgent in order to say yes to what's important. It's how you build momentum, avoid burnout, and make consistent progress on the things that matter most. Focus is not just about attention, it's about intention. It's choosing every day to align your thoughts, habits, and time with your biggest goals. The truth is, you cannot master anything without focus. If you want to build a business, improve your health, grow spiritually, or strengthen a relationship, it requires sustained attention. It requires depth, not just speed. And that can only happen when you discipline your mind to resist every temptation to switch, quit, or get distracted. The mind naturally wants novelty, comfort, and easy wins, but mastery lives on the other side of boredom, repetition, and focus. Think about how easily your focus is stolen on a daily basis. A single notification on your phone can derail your train of thought. A conversation that stirs your emotions can distract you for hours. A moment of self-doubt can paralyze your productivity, and every time you give in to these interruptions, you train your mind to become weaker, more reactive, and less present. The world won't hand you focus. You have to fight for it. And it starts with clarity. You must know what you want. If your goals are vague, your focus will be scattered. When you don't know what matters most, everything feels urgent. But when your goals are crystal clear, decisions become easier. You know what to say yes to. You know what to walk away from. You stop wasting time on things that look good but don't move the needle. You stop comparing your journey to others and begin focusing fully on your own. Winners don't try to do everything. They do the right things with intensity and consistency. They don't chase every shiny object. They focus on their vision. They don't allow failure or criticism to pull them off course. They stay locked in. That level of focus creates results. It creates momentum. It builds a reputation of reliability and power. You see, wishers think about success, talk about success, even plan for it. But they're easily pulled away when things get difficult or when something more exciting comes along. They haven't trained their focus. They haven't built the muscle of attention. And as a result, their progress is inconsistent. Their goals constantly change and their confidence remains low. Because deep down, they know they're not giving their full effort to anything. But when you begin to develop true focus, everything changes. You start finishing what you start. You stop second-guessing yourself. You build trust in your own word. You begin to experience real momentum. And with each small win, your belief grows stronger. You no longer wonder if success is possible. You start proving it to yourself every single day. Focus is not about perfection. It's about coming back to your purpose again and again. Even when you fall off track, even when you get distracted, you realign. You remember why you started. You tune out the noise and return to your lane. That's the habit. That's the discipline. And over time, that's what builds greatness. When you focus, you begin to live deliberately. You're not just surviving the day, you're directing it. You're not just reacting to life, you're creating it. And that sense of purpose, that clarity is what makes all the difference. People will notice your focus. They'll respect your discipline. Opportunities will start to find you, not because you're lucky, but because you're consistent and intentional. So protect your focus like your life depends on it. because in many ways it does. The quality of your life is shaped by what you give your attention to. If you focus on problems, you'll feel overwhelmed. If you focus on possibilities, you'll feel empowered. If you focus on distractions, you'll remain stuck. If you focus on growth, you'll rise. You get to choose what you focus on, and that choice, made consistently, will shape your destiny. Winners choose to focus. Wishers choose to be entertained. The question is, which one are you becoming? You said, expand it 5 into 800 words without heading. ChatGPT said, when your mind is disciplined, everything around you starts to align with your goals. You begin to experience clarity where there was once confusion, purpose where there was once procrastination, and confidence where there was once doubt. Discipline in the mind doesn't just influence how you think, it shapes how you live. It affects the way you make decisions, how you respond to challenges, and the habits you build each day. And once your mind is in order, your external world begins to follow suit. Your habits are a direct reflection of your mindset. If your mind is chaotic, filled with negative self-talk, indecision, and distraction, then your habits will reflect that instability. You'll find yourself skipping tasks, delaying progress, and abandoning routines. But when your mind is focused and trained, you create habits that serve your goals. You begin to prioritize what matters. You choose growth over comfort. You wake up with a plan instead of drifting through the day. That's the power of mental discipline. It creates consistency. And consistency is what drives real change. A disciplined mind reminds you that small steps taken daily add up to big results. You start making better choices in the moment because your long-term vision is clear. You eat better, not just for the sake of health, but because you value energy and longevity. You manage your time better because you understand the value of every minute. You protect your environment because you know that clutter around you leads to clutter within you. When your mind is disciplined, your relationships also begin to improve. You become more intentional with your words. You listen more and react less. You learn to pause before responding, to reflect before judging. You stop allowing emotion to control your interactions and instead respond with wisdom and patience. This emotional regulation, born from mental discipline, builds stronger, healthier connections with others. People begin to trust your stability, your calmness, your presence. You become someone who brings clarity to chaos, someone who can be counted on. In your work, the shift is equally powerful. A disciplined mind doesn't just wait for inspiration. It creates momentum through action. You stop chasing perfection and start focusing on progress. You no longer waste time comparing yourself to others because you're locked in on your mission. You complete tasks with focus and purpose, knowing that excellence is the result of consistency, not bursts of brilliance. Deadlines are met, goals are reached, and most importantly, you begin to trust yourself at a deeper level because your results are no longer random. They're intentional. And your body? Still is too. A disciplined mind doesn't give in to every craving or impulse. It recognizes that health is not just about how you look, but how you feel, how you move, and how you show up for your responsibilities. You start taking care of yourself not out of pressure, but out of respect. You understand that your body is your vehicle, and if you want to go far in life, it has to be strong and well maintained. So you move more, eat better, sleep intentionally, and rest without guilt because you've earned it through your discipline. All of this alignment, your habits, your relationships, your body, and your results flows from a single source, your mindset. When your mind is chaotic, every area of your life feels scattered. But when your mind is disciplined, life begins to click into place. You begin to attract better opportunities, not by chance, but because your focus and actions make you ready for them. You become a magnet for success because you are moving with purpose and power. But let's be clear, alignment doesn't mean life is perfect. It doesn't mean challenges disappear. What it means is that you are no longer thrown off course by every obstacle. You don't spiral when things go wrong. You don't quit when results are slow. You've trained your mind to stay steady, and that steadiness becomes your superpower. While others are panicking, you are planning. While others are distracted, you are delivering. While others are drifting, you are directing. This kind of alignment creates a flow in life. Your actions and values line up, your words and behavior match, your thoughts and goals work together, and when that happens, you no longer feel torn in multiple directions. You feel whole, grounded, purposeful. That kind of inner peace is rare and it's powerful. It's the kind of strength that doesn't shout but is felt by everyone around you. People notice when you're aligned. They see your focus. They admire your discipline. They feel your presence. And most of all, they respect the results you create. Because results don't lie. They reflect the work you've done, especially the internal work. So if you feel stuck or scattered, don't rush to change everything outside of you. Start by bringing order to your thoughts. Start by training your mind to focus, to commit, to stay the course. The rest will follow. Your habits will shift. Your actions will evolve. Your life will transform. Discipline is the root. Alignment is the fruit. When you nurture the root, everything else blossoms. And when your mind is in harmony with your mission, success becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. You said, expand it 600 into 800 words without heading. ChatGPT said, you don't need luck to succeed. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or someone else's approval. What you need is mastery over your own mind. Mental discipline is the foundation for lasting success. It's the quiet power behind every significant achievement. It's not flashy. It doesn't beg for attention, but it produces results that speak louder than any excuse, louder than any doubt, and louder than any obstacle. When you discipline your mind, you stop hoping for change and start creating it. You stop relying on motivation, which is fleeting and emotional, and instead develop structure, which is stable and dependable. Motivation comes and goes. It rises and falls with how you feel. But discipline, once cultivated, carries you through those low moments. It steps in when your energy is low, when your doubts are loud, when your path is uncertain. It gives you the strength to take action anyway, to keep moving, to keep building. Mental discipline means doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. It means making decisions that align with your goals, not just your mood. It means leading yourself when no one is watching and staying committed when no one is applauding. It's what allows you to build consistency over time, and consistency is what leads to mastery. So many people have big dreams, but undisciplined minds. They want change, but they aren't willing to confront the thoughts holding them back. They get pulled into distractions, tossed around by every emotion, and trapped in cycles of procrastination. They start strong, but they don't finish. They talk about goals, but don't build the structure needed to support them. That's not a failure of ambition. It's a failure of discipline. And the beautiful truth is, discipline can be developed by anyone at any time with commitment and daily effort. Mental discipline begins with awareness. It begins with recognizing the thoughts that run through your mind and asking, are these thoughts serving me or sabotaging me? Are they pushing me toward my goals or pulling me away from them? That level of honesty is where transformation begins. You can't improve what you don't acknowledge. You must become the gatekeeper of your mind. Just like you wouldn't allow toxic people to stay in your life, you shouldn't allow toxic thoughts to take root in your thinking. From that awareness, you move into intention. You begin choosing your thoughts deliberately. You set clear goals. You make a plan. And you follow through even when your emotions shift. Because a disciplined mind doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on what you've decided. You make a promise to yourself and you honor it. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. That's where self-respect is built. In those small moments when you choose growth over comfort, effort over ease. Mental mastery also requires learning to endure discomfort. The disciplined mind understands that not everything that feels bad is bad for you. Growth is uncomfortable. Change is messy. Progress is slow. But all of it is part of the process. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is how they interpret discomfort. The undisciplined mind runs from it. The disciplined mind sees it as a sign of movement, of growth, of becoming. That shift in perspective changes everything. When your mind is disciplined, you become a person who finishes what they start. You don't rely on motivation to carry you. You rely on systems, habits, and structure. You don't react to failure by giving up. You respond by learning and adjusting. You don't abandon your goals because they get hard. You push harder because your purpose is bigger than your pain. That kind of resilience doesn't come from hype. It comes from inner discipline. And here's the truth. Once your mind is aligned with your mission, everything around you begins to change. Your actions become more intentional. Your relationships improve because you show up with presence and clarity. Your body becomes stronger because you care for it as an asset, not a burden. Your finances, career, and goals become more focused because you stop wasting time, energy, and attention on things that don't matter. It all flows from your mindset. Success, then, is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. And becoming that person requires you to rule over your thoughts, your focus, your habits, and your reactions. It doesn't mean you'll never have doubts, it means you won't be ruled by them. It doesn't mean you'll never be tempted to quit. It means you've built the strength to keep going anyway. This isn't easy, but it is worth it. Mental discipline gives you freedom. Not the kind of freedom that comes from escaping work, but the kind of freedom that comes from knowing you are in control of your own destiny. That you are not a slave to impulses, emotions, or external pressures. That you are building something real and that you are becoming someone powerful. So if you want lasting success, if you want progress that sticks, habits that matter, and confidence that's unshakable, start with your mind. Train it, strengthen it, lead it. Because once you discipline your mind, success is no longer a question of if, it becomes a matter of when, and everything else will follow.